Please take a moment support the channel by hitting the thumbs up. Story 1. Childhood sweetheart of 11 years. My wife comes from a humble background. Her father is an alcoholic, so mother worked hard all her life to make ends meet. I am from a more privileged background. All members in my family are PhDs. We were different, but when we met at 19, I was in love. She was my first serious relationship. For the first 6 years, we had a long-distance relationship as I was studying abroad. I moved back and we moved in together. 4 years later, we tied the knot. After about 1 year of marriage, I found out she had been having an affair with her boss at a major marketing firm with a senior partner. I also found out that before the marriage, she had a one-night stand with someone and she also met him for some dates. She also maybe got pregnant and asked this one-night stand for some cash. She says she had an affair with her boss because she enjoyed the perks and was getting on fast track for promotion. He gave her expensive gifts, attention, and time. This started around our wedding, where the pressure of our wedding cost was weighing on her as I was basically taking care of it all. She says she tried to end things, but he threatened to fire her and also beat her. Then said he would commit suicide. The physical violence was frequent with her boss. Her boss came to our home often and comes to many of our social engagements. She always told me that her boss doesn't have a friend and she was just getting some brownie points. I bought this. I am such a fool. I even suggested to her to go with her boss to a business meeting outside city because he is a terrible driver and could do with company. What's crazy about this is that I am actually way richer than her boss. I have given her every single freedom. She can take money, no questions asked. She is not enjoying work? She can work at our own business. Although I always encouraged her to be independent. I had written her resume. I actually told her to take the job. I paid for her college and basically all her expenses since the start. Best part? I encouraged her to go and talk to management as it would help her. She went and say hi to this guys because of that. She meant everything to me. She says she was happy in our marriage. I certainly was. My faith in her was so enormous that ignored every sign. Our sex life was great. I have lost my future. I worked my off to grow our business after COVID impact, and here she was accepting luxury gifts that I'd consider pocket change. But it's true I didn't buy things for her, mostly because I thought she can buy whatever she wants with her card, and also because I was working all the time. Also, her fling mentioned above from prior to marriage? She texted him recently and had been having many flirtatious messages. She used to cook for her boss. She messaged him things like she wanted to be with him at night, and she did message him once or twice expressing concerns that she thought he was leaving her. After D-Day, our worlds have collapsed. She has quit her job and says has become suicidal. She swears she tried to get out but couldn't, and she hates this guy. She is asking for forgiveness if I can take her back. I can't trust her or maybe anyone ever again. Update 1, D-Day. She came home after one of her office parties. She was completely drunk at 3 a.m. She started mumbling she wanted kids. I asked her who dropped her. It was her boss. Something snapped and checked her phone. Found out. Her workplace, this company she works for, is a total scumbag. I just Googled and found out that in 2018 they laid off all senior management due to workplace harassment, and then someone in 2022 filed a case saying no action on her complaint. AP, he is in mid-50s and fat. Quite an ugly dude, honestly. She has brought him to our house many times. She has taken me to his house many times. She has introduced him to all our friends. She always said it was because he is lonely and doesn't have friends. The extent of his visits were so much that even when I thought something was fishy, I would think, who could be that stupid? My father just told me after D-Day that he had told my mother that I was probably approving of this open marriage. He just couldn't believe it that I didn't suspect. Her response after D-Day: accepted divorce, accepted to file lawsuit for workplace harassment. Quit her job and is suicidal, to point that her family doesn't even let her use the bathroom with closed door. She is definitely remorseful, and her family is too. She apologizes to me on an hourly basis. Asks for forgiveness and chance to prove she can change. She is asking me what she can do to make up for this. However, due to magnitude of my betrayal, I am not considering any form of reconciliation, but it's hard on me to stay firm. Clues during the 1-year-long affair, I have to admit, she has asked for psych help and has told me she has severe depression. I never understood the gravity of this and procrastinated on it. She has Googled on topics of how to end things. She has asked me multiple times to help her find a job. Again, I never understood the severity. So she definitely was going through something. But at the same time she has sent texts to him like she is missing him, etc. It's not that she had an escape in her AP, she was having a full-blown toxic relationship parallel to ours. Parallel lives. If you read her messages to him and then to me, you will see night and day. With him it's like a stupid teenager fighting and passionate and crazy. With me it's like calm, happy and loving wife. I am telling you, we had a happy marriage. This is what makes this so devastating. At one point she is messaging him frantically to come pick her up, and she is messaging me at the same time reminding me of some chores and that we have still not formally applied for a marriage license. Story 2. She cheated and got me arrested so she wouldn't look like the bad guy. Now she came back begging. Hi all, need to express my story to someone, anyone at all. I'll try and make this cohesive in some kind of way, but excuse me if I'm a little all over. 3 weeks ago today my partner of 8 years left to go shopping and never came back. We were engaged, were planning a wedding and a family, and we have a dog who we adopted together. She'd taken just her handbag, never acted unusual, except for the fact she never made any connection with me or our dog, never uttered a word, she simply left. It wasn't until a few hours later I realized she'd taken her toothbrush and a few other things. Then I found she'd left her engagement ring on the bedside. I panicked and tried for several hours to contact her. After reading my messages and refusing to reply, she finally messaged back and told me she needed space. So I gave her space, although I messaged her frequently that evening and into the next day to try and understand what had happened. I acted out of panic, out of pain. These messages weren't angry, just pleading. I didn't know where she was, who she was with, or if she was even safe. She has a history of psychosis, and the only moment I could pinpoint in all of this was a few days earlier when she had broken down and wept in my arms and said she was struggling. So I looked after her that evening, cooked a meal, and we watched a show. Back to the leave. The next day she messaged me and said she was safe and staying with a friend. I was still concerned and asked who she was with, and she named one of her friends I knew of but wasn't in contact with myself. A few days later I'd still not heard anything. Then I realized she had blocked me entirely. I did a foolish thing and remembered she had an account on our shared laptop and I knew the passcode. We both knew each other's on this particular laptop, in case something ever happened. When I signed in I saw Facebook was already logged in. I must insist I don't know her usernames or passwords, a point that will be important soon. I had never accessed her socials before, but something drew me to this. On FB, I stupidly opened her messages and realized very quickly she wasn't where she'd said she was. She was in another location completely, had traveled hours there via coach on the day she disappeared. She was with a woman she had been emotionally connected to for a month prior. She was having an online affair and finally acted on it. Then I saw other messages between her friends. A few of her friends, a best friend prim ally, were almost prompting her to act upon the affair, saying she could do better. Saying she only gets to do this once. One friend said she should leave me and break up in secret so as to not look like a homewrecker. So I confronted her about the affair. I tried to call her from another number, left voicemails. Then I tried emailing her to no success. After this the police arrived. I had thoughts of taking my life. Who I thought was my soulmate, the woman I would spend my entire life with, the one I shared everything with, couldn't seem to care. She had abandoned me, our family, our home. I lost myself and ended up arrested in a drunken, emotional rage. After a night in hospital and a day in a cell, the police told me I had been detained again due to stalking and hacking a Facebook account. I defended the claim, explained our relationship, how she'd disappeared. Admitted to accessing the FB account, but hacking? No, I defended myself. I was broken. And now I'm in limbo. Though the emotion is dulled, I still have this sick pain in my stomach. The police have notified me that I cannot contact her in any way or else risk arrest. I have since learned she has been trying to contact me and provoke a response of some kind. She has also been messaging my family. She wants our dog. She's wondering whether I'm staying in our home or if I'm moving out. It's been several weeks now and no progress. She hasn't closed the joint financial accounts, contacted our landlord about living arrangements, nor been back for her belongings. I guess I'm venting and trying to ask anyone out there for advice. I feel cornered, and she seems to be taking her time about it. Furthermore, I feel she's gaslighting me. Why would the woman I spent 8 years with want me arrested? Is this so she doesn't look like the bad guy in this? About a month later, I received a text from her pleading, apologizing for everything she put me through. But I'm you dumb to take her backstory 3. Hi everyone. I'm posting here hoping to survive. 1 week ago was the happiest day of my life. I found out my wife of 4 years was pregnant. We didn't think we could get pregnant. It was the happiest we'd ever been. A couple days ago, by chance, I found out that 4 months ago she had done things, infidelity, that I still can't talk about. Multiple partners. Just picture your worst imagination and it's a step above that. Honestly, I'm holding on by a thread. Somehow, this happened to me before when I was much younger. I attempted suicide. Somehow the person saved me. Just literally a stroke of luck. Flash forward to today, I have awful social anxiety. I have trouble leaving the house. Given what happened with my now pregnant wife, going by what I read online, I have severe PTSD. I wake up screaming and it scares her. She runs to the room I'm in to check on me. I can't easily move out, neither of us could afford our home on our own. I'm torn between leaving and supporting her pregnancy. The other complication is that we are just under the borderline of when we could chemically abort. It's a living nightmare. She did things so terrible. Somehow part of me still loves her. The only thing that can stop my constant panic attacks, which I thought I had before but now realize I've never had, is laying with her. How do I get past the intrusive thoughts? We have listened to and read things online from the Mayo Clinic. I'm worried that keeping the baby is either simply a choice we make to try and not lose each other because we still care for each other, or it's a terribly dumb decision made by 2 very traumatized people that are spiraling around each other. I'm not angry at her. I'm horrified and devastated and still can't believe she had something like this in her. Honestly, this is a cry for help, for answers, for anything that might have helped people in the past. Can people get through something that one partner feels is so terrible they can't speak about it? Please take a moment to support the channel by hitting the